Hey, it's Dame. Part two of working for the ice cream lady boss, and I wanted to clear a couple things up. Okay, as I listened to that, first things first, the she was my boss. She started as a waitress, and I was a bartender, and then she ended up buying her own ice cream place, and it did very well. I wanted a raise at one point, like towards the end. So it wasn't, to say like, oh, I wanted a raise and there was no raise. And then I said, well, since we do so much more, I'll take a percentage. I'll take 1% of our sales, our commission on it because we did so well. Because we really had a good time sometimes, and she wasn't in a bad mood and insulting. She was funny, and her picking on me really is how we looked at it then. She would say something, and I'm quick-witted enough, like, I'm not crying, I'm still scooping. But I will leave. If she would have ever gone over the edge, I would have laughed. But her saying her little things, like they tease you and pretend it's a joke, didn't ever. I'm quick enough. Like, she just looked like a mean boss. They didn't even know we're related. They just think this poor girl is listening to this. This is absolute insanity. And I would just laugh and we would laugh. And then she'd say, no, we're really friends. We got to ride home together or whatever, But the truth was there was no raise. I'm not even at 20 an hour. We're doing, thousands of dollars a day in Rochester, especially, that's a 12, 14 day thing, and I'm there. That was the funny part. I forgot the whole funny part of the story. So my first day there, I had never worked at Lilac Fest for, and she was having a baby, and she was like due any minute, big as could be. And she picked up a whole freezer. She wouldn't let me help her and loaded it on the back of her truck. She could load her own freezers, these pails of ice cream are 70 pounds a pail, and you have to rotate them in these freezers. It's really hard work to serve this ice cream, and you have to keep the temperature right. And the lines, I said 10 minutes, completely wrong. People would wait 2 hours sometimes. They would say, I'm in line for 2 hours, but if they got up to if they got up to the head of the line and asked her a question like, what kind do you have? People love to do that. I think they're zoned out on how long they've been in line sometimes. And they would be like, what kind do you have? You can't ask that when you get up there. I don't blame her for that. But she would say, that's it. You're done. You go to the end of the line. Like, the soup Botsy on Seinfeld, the ice cream line, you were cut off. Don't waste time. You have your order ready. You say what you want and you hop skatooey. I had a guy yelling at me that East Aurora Fest. He goes, I'd like a baby cone for my dog. And I'm like, oh, okay. I think it was $2.50 or something. And a dish of water. Like, dishes cost people money. It's not the place's Josh. You can't be mad at her for not wanting that. We have a line. People are waiting 2 hours and I'm giving you free water for your dog. So she would get really bent about that. And it was like so awkward because I just would want to, have a little dish of water out. And she just didn't want to do it because people would take advantage of it, I suppose. But anyway, she would, I should have it on him. She would, God, I forget where I was going with that. I saw that little guy eating. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's hard for me to see with this glare. Anyway, we made good tips. So that kind of made up for it, but we split the tips and we were doing like 8,000 in a day when the other girls would make perhaps 3 or 4. Shh. So, I knew that our numbers were right. We were working extra hard, but people would fill up the tip jar. That guy with the ice cream and his dog, and he's like $2.50, right? He wants this ice cream for his dog. He's like, this is for my dog. And he shows me the dog, and the dog looks like he loves ice cream. I can tell. I'm really here for the dog. I want him to have the ice cream, but she's not having it he says it shouldn't be more than $1. So I'm like, well, I could do $1 scoop for you, and he's like, well, he just hesitated really. He didn't say no, but I had already put the $2.50 scoop in. She took the scoop and slammed it back in the ice cream thing. And she's like, now you and your dog don't get any ice cream. So anyway, it was kind of like that, like that's the funny. Like that was my Sunday in East Aurora. And really, the thing was I always knew what a good artist she was. And I was like, you would so enjoy this if you were just selling your works. If she could sell like her beautiful pictures and paintings, I would have been doing myself a favor had I have thought to do that. Why didn't I think to put my photography on the counter to sell it and make little postcards or something, or I paint cards and postcards and all kinds of things. And I never thought to put that on the counter there. And I made her wreaths, like floral wreaths and stuff, like back then, like Shabby Chic came in, but before that she liked that country style, and she went and bought all like boxes and boxes and boxes, cases and cases. We went to a warehouse in Buffalo, and I had broken my leg, so she let me live there for free and not pay rent in one of those car accidents I told you about when I got run off the road. So I was staying with her, and I was putting together wreaths for her. She had them all done in the garage, and I would hobble down the stairs because I had a cast on and sit at the picnic table and make these wreaths. And I'd get like, I don't know, I had like maybe 45, 50 of them done in a day, and, worked all day. I thought they were really pretty. She showed me what she wanted, and I thought they matched up, but she said not when she got there. And she's like, what are these? I had them all laying out. Oh my gosh. I mean, I was like, we should just have a sale in the driveway because I had them. And it was hard to hobble around and stuff. And these are not like feel sorry for me stories. Really, I seriously don't want people to feel like these are pity parties. This shit's funny because it happens to everybody in way worse ways. But these are just these little things, I thought they were really pretty. And I think of myself as kind of a floral designer. That's why, the window looks like this because that's my thing. And plus I was doing the weddings and stuff. And so to say that was just like, they were ugly, and she pulled them all apart. She goes, take them all apart, put them back in the original boxes and build them again and do it so that they're pretty this time so people want to buy them, because she was selling them in the ice cream shop. She sold them off the walls, which was really smart business, So she had good ideas and stuff, and I had always hoped the best, but hoping the best for people does not make them be the best. So in that, little story, but she was real good at other things. I remember, oh my God. And this is the last I'm going to talk about her, because it's not that interesting, because it's just sad, because it shouldn't have gone that way, like it shouldn't have gone that way. But people are people, and there's nothing you can do but try to retain the good memories you have. And she was a wild person, and in a better world, in a better place, she would have really had so much fun. But it was a lot of work. She did a lot of work, and I don't know. It's a tough world over there on that side of the world where she lives. But I hope that people see that it will come back to bite you. It will come back to bite you when you treat people poorly, and you can't do that if you're a business owner. I was treated like gold at the places I worked prior to the prison. Not gold, but I mean, not bad at all. And certainly the restaurant where I bartended, that guy, he took care of me. I was tipped, a 20 for a cup of coffee. I got 100 for a cup of coffee. I got 20s for a smile. People brought me silk scarves, cannolis from the city, anything I wanted from New York City. When I worked, that's another one. Okay, so I worked in the car dealership. This is a funny one, okay, going into this guy, and I'll just call him Bagu, okay? He was an old-time Italian guy that was working at this car dealership I worked at, but it had been taken over by a German family. Not taken over, sold to. They didn't take it over. They just bought the dealership. And prior, it had been an Italian dealership, and a lot of people got free cars that were Buffalo Bills players. And that owner was known for it. Everybody loved him. They'd say, Charlie, oh my God, they loved him. He was a nice guy, and he loved the Bills, and they were real popular in the 90s. And this is I'm in the 80s, so I'm working there 88, 89, 90, 91, and is this hostess secretary. And so he's got an office, this guy Bagu. In his office is a corner office that goes to the parking lot between the two buildings. There's a used car lot and a new car lot, and in that middle space you can go through, and you can get the cars back to where they do the body shop, and then that goes back to the creek where this is on Main Street there. And we'd play racquetball in the back and stuff. They had a big, like a big empty spot where you could park the cars. They had new cars and stuff like that. Anyway, well, of course they had new cars, but it was where like they ran them around the shop and did detail work, stuff like that. It was a big, big area. But in the showroom, Bagu's office, he got the corner office with one back door. He had an outside access. So his friends would come from the city and stuff, and they'd want to come in and just, have coffee and bring donuts and bring cannolis and bring whatever. I mean, the skinny Mike, he would bring me silk scarves from New York City. They were gorgeous. I mean, he never didn't have a treat for me. He always had something for me. He was so sweet. But a lot of Bagu's friends would bring me gifts, and these are all Italian guys going down to the city for whatever, just like they just go down for a trip, who knows what. They're going to have their favorite sauce somewhere, and they'd bring me back something all the time. But Bagu would always argue and say that these new Germans that were running were just like Batsies because they didn't want all his friends in there. They would say, like, you can't hang out. And like my job, unreal, as the hostess there, they had this thing called an up system, and you had a list of the salespeople, and you went down the list, and then you filled out this questionnaire, a little like carbon copy slip like this, and they told me I was trained, and I would go out to the car lot when the person got out of the car, and they were looking, I'd say, hi, my name is Damia, and yours is, and people naturally would say their name, but a lot of people are looking for it, so they wouldn't, and you would say, it's nice to meet you. Now I'm supposed to write the name down, so I have their name, like Bob, and then is there something you're looking for today? How can I help you? I'm not a salesperson. And so that they would be like put at ease, and then they would just say, yeah, I'm looking at caddies or something, or I'm looking at the new Eclipse, whatever. That was like a hot one then. And I would just, by that time, the salesman's supposed to have followed me out, and I'm supposed to turn around to him basically and just say, oh my God, Brad, here you are, Brad. This is Mr. Bob, and he's looking for an Eclipse. What do you got? Do you think you could help him with him? Because I got to get going. And so now we've got the slide in, and I've got the name, and what they've got is a record that salesman talked to that customer, and I put one slip on his desk so he has the name. If I can get their phone number or something, that would be great. They want me to get their phone number. He's supposed to fill out that part or something, like get that information on his own end, but that was my responsibility, was this little card, fill it out, and then put it on the up sheet. You kept a tally, and it would be like, this person had an up. That means they talked to a customer. The next guy is going to be this guy, Gary, okay? And then after that, it's going to be Brad, and then it's going to be Scott, and then it's going to be Mike. And you just as they go. But sometimes they don't want that up because it goes in order of the customers that are coming. So they could see a card that they don't want to talk to the people because they're like, hey, they're just window shopping. They're just driving, like maybe they're just old folks. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't want to just run out to every car that came, but that was how they did it. But Bagu was not going to do that. He's not going out to the cars. His customers come to him. People come to him when he gets a car in on a trade, when he gets a sweet caddy from somebody's grandma, he calls his friend over there and says, hey, this person's turning this in. Maybe you want to, they're doing a trade-in. Maybe you want to come in and we'll make a deal on this car because this is a pristine car. And so people are looking for that. So he had those kind of things. He didn't need to talk to people walking into that place. Not at all. And he's not looking to. And they wanted to make him do it because it's their new system and they want everybody to be in it. You can't be like, this old, like, kind of Italian way. I'm not going to keep saying these words, but, it was that way of things, and they wanted to like totally like separate from that. And here they're making us girls be the ones to write down their names and stuff like, whatever. But he was always good to me. And he would just yell. He would be like, these Nazis won't quit with it. I can't believe it. He hated it. They wanted to lock the back door so that he couldn't get in and out and just get in his car. Because he could just pull his Cadillac right up to the door, come in and out and go as he pleased. He didn't have to walk through the showroom with everybody else. That's how he had it. And, he should have kept it that way because he sold 1 million cars. He outsold everybody there because everybody wanted to see him. When they looked at your car, they'd want, you want to say he did it because he did it right. He was, a nice guy. He was real nice. His wife was a super nice lady, and she worked in a restaurant for years, and I used to see her. She was just a sweetheart. So many nice people to see go through these things, the changing of times, which we're in again. We're in these changing times again. So a little story for it's a rainy day here in Oregon. I thought maybe the sun would come out, but it's really not going to happen, I don't think, today. It's pretty late. All right. Well, I only need I think 2,057 hours to monetize the thing. So I mean, I think we're almost there. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Peace.